Well, Fox News releasing some brand new polls today that suggest President Trump may be gaining some strength from the impeachment battle. One poll showing that he's gotten a slight jump in his job approval rating, while another shows there's been almost no change in public opinion on the issue of impeachment since the inquiry began. What does all this mean? Judy Miller joins us, adjunct fellow at the Manhattan Institute for Policy Research, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and Fox News contributor. Judy, always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, it's going to be a big week. I mean, he may be impeached, but that job approval rating is ticking up a little bit. I mean, how do you explain both of these things? You got a president's going to be impeached, and then meanwhile, people are saying, hey, he's not doing too bad a job. At least some of them are saying that.
I think the first factor, Eric, is the economy. When an economy this strong, the president has an enormous headwind. The Democrats are well aware of that. The second issue that plagues the Democrats is impeachment taking time, energy, and attention away from the issues that the American people really care about: health care, jobs, growth. And that's why Nancy Pelosi, in her press conference last Thursday, went out of her way to talk about everything else except impeachment.
Well, she's even saying, I mean, Wednesday, we say potentially there'll be a vote on impeachment on Wednesday. And on Tuesday, they're going to pass a big spending bill. Thursday, approval of the USMCA. So she's like squeezing something that's only happened 3 times in our nation's history. This would be the third. Right in the middle of other bills.
Right, exactly. And she talked a lot at that press conference. She mentioned impeachment once in her opening remarks. The Republicans, the minority leader Kevin McCarthy, mentioned it about 10 times. So the Republicans want the focus on impeachment. The president himself has tweeted about it over 100 times over the weekend. But the Democrats want to emphasize that they're capable of walking and chewing gum, of doing the nation's business while they do their constitutional duty as they see it, which is to impeach Donald Trump.
Why do you think the Republicans are actually focusing on something that normally would be negative, that they're focusing on impeachment, seeing that they're setting up the Democrats, perhaps this boomerang against the Democrats in 2020?
There is tremendous concern about that within the party, which is why a group of younger Democrats are pushing to have a conservative like Justin Amash really lead the party, be the party manager of this during this impeachment process. But I think that ultimately what the Democrats understand they need to do is to rally their base in the same way that Trump is using impeachment to rally his. Democrats feel very strongly that this president has really abused the power of his office, and therefore the more the Democratic leadership brings that home, impeaches him for ever having an asterisk after Trump's name, the more they think that their base will be motivated to turn out in November.
But that also motivates the Republican base, at least the Trump base, and that they believe that the impeachment process is fixed. It's a scam, it's totally unfair, and it's just political to get him out of office.
Absolutely, and I think that's why you might see a strategy among the Democrats of trying to drag this process out when it comes to the Senate trial in January, because impeachment is pretty much a foregone conclusion, whereas the Democrats will want to make this a short, swift event because they have at least 3 senators who will have to be in Washington when other candidates will be in Iowa, New Hampshire, and the Super Tuesday states.
And you've got so many Democratic candidates.
Absolutely.
Did the field get any bigger since we've been sitting here talking the last 3 minutes?
Not in the last 3 minutes, but you do have 15 Democrats in this race. This close to an election is really astonishing, and everyone's very nervous that there won't be a single candidate around whom the party will coalesce. If that doesn't happen, you have the prospect of a brokered convention. If you have a brokered convention, you risk having a very angry minority of losers within the party. That spells a great deal of concern for Democrats.
1972, for some reason, it begins to come to mind. Is that potentially...
You have an amazing memory. All I know is the Democrats, especially those in the swing districts and then those that are in districts that Trump won, are enormously concerned about this process, despite the fact that a majority of the country still feels that the president ought to be not only impeached but also removed from office.
Let's look at 3 things. We've got a president's job a poll on his job performance. Just slightly over 53% disapprove of his job performance. 45% approve. That's been ticking up. And in terms of being impeached, 54% thinks he should be impeached. 50% say he should be removed, but 41% say he should not be impeached. And then there is this, finally, from John Cass, the great columnist of the Chicago Tribune. The House Democratic impeachment of Trump does accomplish two things, he says. It drives independents to his side, even those who loathe his manner, his vulgarity, and his brutishness, because they see what the Silkies of the left have done. And it lowers the bar for impeachment, inviting some future Congress to impeach a president just because he defeated them. Do you think, in the end, this actually will help President Trump?
I'm not sure which way this is going to play. We have seen the president's popularity numbers edge up slightly. It's still within a margin of statistical error, but the Republicans seem to think that this impeachment process may very well play in their favor, and the Democrats are worried, and I think an analyst would have to say if you put those two things together, you have a problematic situation in the next couple of weeks for the Democrats.
All right. Judy, always good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Of course.